All right, guys, I have not been live in this group in so long. In fact, this is like a very spontaneous thing. I actually sat down to write my weekly email, and then I was like, I'm just in a chatty mood. I think I'd rather record a Loom video. So I logged onto Loom, and then I was like, you know what? Let's bring it to the group. Let's go live. I feel like probably half of you guys in here, I'm making up numbers. I don't know, but I feel like some of you are already on the email list. Some of you may not be. So if you're not, drop a comment, drop me a DM, and I'll definitely add you. But I thought either way, everyone needs to hear this message. This is something that has been coming through for me pretty strongly. Then wanted to share with you all. So I hope you'll enjoy this free, food for thought type of training. So the title of the video I chose is Commit with Courage. At least I think so. Now it's changed. Oh, the power of commitment. The power of commitment, right? Um, I feel like, so if you follow astrology at all, there's a big shift that we're in that shifts us into the second half of 2024. There's a lot going on, but also, believe it or not, Thursday is the first day of summer, which is again shifting into the last 6 months of the year. And then Friday we have a full moon. And I did not come on here to talk about astrology, but all of these things kind of shifting us into out of this like Q1, Q2 phase and into Q3 and Q4. And I don't know about you, but the first half of this year has flown by. I think it is absolutely imperative that for any of you that we take time to reflect on how things have been going, right? What has been going really well over the last 6 months, what actually hasn't been going as well as you wanted it to. And thinking back even to like January, when we start setting those goals for the year, what did you set the intention for the year to be? And has it been what you've expected, or has it been wildly different? There's no right or wrong. And I want to say that too, like, do not shame yourself if it's not going how you wanted it to go. I feel like more often than not, when that's the case, it's because other things were meant to unfold. Our journey was meant to take a different path. So, absolutely everything happens for a reason. You are 100% exactly where you're supposed to be. Give yourself grace and space always. And this is a great time of year to take a pause in the slow haziness of summer and look at the next 6 months and where you want to go and where you want to be. So I have just been doing this the last 7 days. And what came, well, actually, it's been about a month of like things kind of coming into my mind. Where am I at? Where am I going? What am I doing with my business, right? As we always all do, right? And then I had a good conversation, actually, two good conversations with two good friends on Friday, separate conversations. And what really like came into my being, right, out of the ether of ideas and into my being, the biggest thing was this power of commitment. So when I was looking at my year so far, it's been pretty good. I don't have a lot of complaints, but the biggest thing is I really, honestly, if I'm being completely honest, you guys, one of my biggest goals for probably the last 2, maybe 3 years, and I could even go back to the beginning of my business, I always wanted to have passive income, right? I want my journals and my courses to sustain my income so that coaching and group courses and being live, things like that, are just extra icing on top of the cake. And so when I really thought about what's going to make the biggest impact in my business in the last 6 months of 24, I had, a million things I want to create and do. But what really came down to it for me is I want that passive income. And I have all these beautifully designed journals. They're there. I've been kind of shifting away from Amazon and into selling them on my own, which if you have questions about, feel free to drop a comment. Would love to chat further about that. Especially any of you guys who started following me when we were doing the publishing company. I've got a lot of theory around all of that now that has shifted. Um, but I'm not I don't have the structure set up to sell those journals easily, to sell my courses easily. In fact, if you went onto my website right now, it would probably be pretty hard to find them. So while I could easily create lots of other content, I have courses, things coming out of my ears that I want to create, I decided to commit 200% to focusing on one thing and one thing only through the end of the year, and then I'm going to reevaluate. So one of my close friends, who's also an entrepreneur, she and I had a moment where we kind of like challenged each other, like what would happen if we both committed to just one thing for the next 6 months? How would we see our businesses shift? How would we actually start to see and gain the traction we want to gain? And so this conversation spurred out of something you all probably have heard a lot about, and it's kind of this balance. A lot of my clients ask me about this, like the balance between this feminine, ooey gooey, go with the flow, follow your intuition, right? The balance between that energy and this masculine, get it done, build the thing, that kind of energy. And I definitely say we need both. You will always hear me say we need both. But what has happened in our society is that we have really shifted the scales towards one energy, which is the masculine, especially Western society. We're all go, 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 build, 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 don't take a rest. And so a lot of my work is teaching you how to shift those scales back in the other way, really leaning heavy into the feminine, the intuitive, the creative, following your intuition, right? So that you can start to find that balance, because you need both. And again, in the other direction, a lot of people work with me because they are very feminine, they are very spiritual and heart-centered, but they have a hard time with the masculine concepts of business. And so I really like to consider myself a bridge between the two worlds. I can take these not always nice concepts for like marketing and sales and building a business, and bring them into a way that feels good and nurturing to ourselves and to others, right? So um, with that being said, we need the masculine structure in order to hold the feminine essence, right? Great book out there. I did not plan on sharing this, but I have it right here. Excellent book, Wild Creative by Tammy Lynn Kent. Highly recommend this read. She talks all about the creative cycle and also the feminine and masculine energies and creativity. Both come into play with creativity. So very interesting. But what happens is we need a masculine structure, a container to hold the feminine essence, so that the feminine essence feels safe to unravel. And so what my friend and I were both identifying in our businesses is that we've built these pretty successful businesses, right? We're not where we want to be, but pretty successful. And we're just following the flow, going with intuition. Everything feels good. We wake up and do what we want, but we're not hitting our goals. We're not hitting our goals because there's no structure to hold that feminine energy. We're just creating something here, creating something there, which feels good for a while, but to actually shift the flow of the river to go up higher to the next level, we are going to have to build structure. So that is my focus for the next 6 months. You're going to see me start talking about my journals a lot more, my courses that are pre-made, and I'm going to focus on one life coaching program, a group coaching program that I have taught a million times, a million ways. I've renamed it a million different things, and and big surprise here, I have not seen consistent enrollment. I'm not consistently teaching it. This has been going on since 2018. So again, I need to really build out that structure for this thing to be what it is, in order for people to feel safe to come into that environment and learn from it and let it be there day after day, year after year, so that it is a recognized, solid, masculine structure that's going to provide so much beautiful feminine energy growth for people. So I am sharing all of that today with you guys. Oh, one other thing. The other thing I am hard committing to is building my barn, house, and retreat center. If you want to follow along with that, that's a whole different project. It is related to business and it's also separate. OK Art Barn on Instagram. You can follow me there. I'm documenting the whole journey. It's just kind of a for fun thing. We're remodeling my dad's barn for me to have a place to live and host art and yoga retreats. So if you want to check that out, that's my other big commitment personally. So I'm sharing all this with you because there's a thing that happens in your brain when you actually commit. So I like to use the word decide. When you make a decision, the word decide actually means to cut off everything that no longer serves you. So you're cutting off all the fat, you're cutting off what's not working, and you're going hard in the new direction. So this is something we don't often do. I talk to clients all day, every day, and they're like, yeah, it would be great if I did blah, blah, blah. It'd be wonderful if this happened, blah, blah. 90% of your success is going to come when you decide that that reality is going to happen with or without fail. I will do it. It will happen. It's already done. So shifting your mindset into that place of knowing and commitment and decisiveness is going to help you get so much further, so much quicker. One of the habits of highly successful people is that they make decisions quickly, right? So they trust themselves, they go with their gut, and they go after it and decide, right? Cutting off everything else that's no longer serving them. So I would encourage you to make that decision on something that you've been wanting for a while that you're not taking action on. I'm encouraging you to commit in your, and it's a full body feeling when you commit to something, right? We can trick ourselves and say, yeah, I'm committed. But until you feel it and you know in your bones you are 2000% committed, that's a very different feeling, right? Last summer, I remember I really wanted to, never in my life have I had a six-pack abs. And for whatever reason, I remember I was sitting there doing my yoga, doing my ab workout, and I was like, I have always wanted this, and I've just like never done it. Even though I've like worked hard, I've done ab workouts since going back to like middle school. I've never had a six-pack. And it came in my brain then. This was a year ago. I was like, well, Haley, if you want it, you just got to commit to it. And literally that will shift everything. So like my inner life coach was like, I was like, whoa. So guarantee you, true story, I was like, okay, I'm committing to having a six-pack this summer. And it didn't take that much more effort than what I was already doing. It didn't take that long. But I definitely had a six-pack last summer. Now it's gone now. Caveat, it is gone now. I have since like reprioritized, I would say. But it happened. After what, 10, 15 years of always wanting it, I committed, I made the decision, and I went after it, and it worked. It happened, right? So much of the time we get caught up in manifesting, right? Being this elusive, I just need to like unblock and like meditate. And yes, there's a whole lot that goes into that. And a huge piece of manifesting is taking aligned action, taking the steps necessary, building the thing, doing the thing, walking the walk, talking the talk, just act, right? Decide, commit, act. The last thing I'm going to leave you with today is another friend of mine who's a very successful entrepreneur. I love her so much. Sherry Lukey, if you're here, shout out to Sherry. She said this in passing the other day when we were having a coffee date. And she was explaining that men often commit to things way before they're actually had the experience or the confidence or whatever. And we've all heard this, right? Whereas women, we will not apply for jobs unless we're like 200% sure we can do it, right? Men are the opposite. And so what Sherry shared with me is this idea of committing with courage, right? Just being courageous, taking the leap, committing with courage, and the confidence will come, right? Confidence comes through acting, through doing the same thing over and over again, and then you'll feel confident. But you most of the time aren't going to feel confident until you've done what you're doing, what you want to do. So commit with courage and the confidence will come. Okay, I hope you found this helpful. Please feel free to leave comments if you have thoughts, ideas, questions, and maybe I'll pop in here again more often. I'm thinking through some of this stuff. So let me know if Facebook is still a place where you hang out and would love to see me, or if you have other places you'd like to see me, let me know. I'm open, and I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. Bye.